Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Not feeling too well at the moment, but I decided I wanted to try something a little bit different. In this sort of pseudo-Wraith reviews, because, well, I'm not too keen on the whole shebang. I'm not too keen on actually making this a proper thing. I decided I would make a relatively quick Rate the Roster video, rating the roster for Mortal Kombat 11 by giving my overall thoughts in a very brief format. So, using Scorpion as our example, I would rate him an 8 out of 10. Fantastic character, obviously a staple of the series, and with the most costumes out of any character, you're never going to be in a dull moment fighting Scorpion, as long as you don't mind dealing with teleports all the time, and a little bit of an eyesore. So, that's our example. We're going to move on and start from the left all the way to the right, and we're just going to skip over Scorpion because I already gave my very brief thoughts. Alien. Second best guest character in the game, 9.5 out of 10. Super cool, very unique. We don't have actually very many bestial, animalistic combatants in Mortal Kombat. Most of the characters know more refined martial arts, or at least can brawl. This thing bites, stabs, claws. This is the feral beast that I've always wanted in a fighting game, plus it's a xenomorph. And with a little bit of Baraka, you just can't go wrong. Jason Voorhees. Overall, he's a 6.5 out of 10. Not my favorite guest character, but as Mortal Kombat X's first guest, and probably the best of the horror guests in terms of, like, iconicness, the only thing that really kind of holds him back is that he's very straightforward, and sometimes that gets a little bit dull, at least for me. Wow! 7.5 out of 10. This Shaolin monk's unique gimmick with the hat that teleports makes him really, really fun, and I love the old Shaolin monk, but my favorite costume by far is actually Tournament Lao with the hat trick variation because of the glowing dragon. How cool is that? Look at that! It's awesome. Jax, 8.5 out of 10. My favorite Special Forces character by leaps and bounds, at least of the old guard. However, I personally feel that he shouldn't have come back to Mortal Kombat 11. I feel like Jax has been through a lot. Guy needs a retirement, seriously. Not because I hate him, but because I genuinely think he deserves it. Sonya, 7 out of 10. This Sonya is probably the best incarnation of Sonya to date, and she's just a blast to play, but she's scary, and, well, scary is a good thing. But really, the big thing is that she's Special Forces. She's a very solid, hard line in the middle, 7 out of 10. Kenshi, 9 out of 10. Would have loved this guy to come back in Mortal Kombat 11 in some way, shape, or form. He is super cool, and he and his son are probably the best sort of family dynamic in Mortal Kombat. Plus, blind telekinetic swordsman. What a win. Kitana. She is going to also be an 8 because she's the most iconic leading lady of Mortal Kombat, and despite what some people think, I personally think her best costume in this game is a tie between Jingu Kitana, or if I feel Revenant, Dark Empress. And I personally think Mortal Kombat 11 Kitana skins, while lacking in variety, are overall some of her best. I'm not actually that keen on Tournament and normal Kitana, and Revenant is easily my least favorite of the bunch. Actually, no, that actually goes to Classic, just because Classic is so bland. Bland, I tell you. Bland! I'm gonna get killed for that opinion one day, but for now, Jingu Kitana is definitely my favorite. Sub-Zero. Same as Scorpion and Kitana, 8 out of 10. Cold-hearted, my favorite of the quote-unquote ninjas, and frankly, I'm very happy that they finally gave him an unmasked thing to separate him from Scorpion, but that's just me and my personal opinion. This video's gonna go way too long to go on Twitter, so YouTube it is, I just realized. Mileena. This is the most controversial character in Mortal Kombat so far because of the fact that she got skipped, just like Jade did for this game, but she got skipped over for Mortal Kombat 11. And a lot of people were not happy about that. So what are my overall thoughts on Mileena? She is actually slightly higher than Kitana. She's an 8.5. I'm not like, oh, sweet baby Jesus, I want Mileena in the game and I want to burn down NetherRealm Studios for it, like some crazy Mileena fans are. But to the Mileena fans that are not super duper crazy, I sympathize with you. Plus, I mean, teeth. We love them teeth. She's a beast. She's a monster, and I kind of like it. I especially kind of like the idea that Vampires Melina in Mortal Kombat Mobile has wings, so very neat. My favorite Mortal Kombat newcomer of the bunch. Yes, even more so than Kotal Khan. Takeda is easily a 10 out of 10. This is the character for Mortal Kombat 11. My god, man, this character right here, it's a crime he didn't end up back in Mortal Kombat 11. He honestly should have probably replaced either Jackie or Cassie or even Jax. Takeda is so worth having back. Give me just one moment, please, and then we will continue. Cassie Cage, the most controversial of the newcomers, because of her, shall we say, Deus Ex Machina nature, or Deus Ex Cagina, as it were. But she's a 7 out of 10, plus she's voiced by Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn, and I think that's really neat. I really wish they kept the undercover suit, though. That would have been really cool to see. Jackie is a 6.5 out of 10, in my personal opinion. She gets more unique and better in Mortal Kombat 11, but she just never clicked with me. As a daughter of Jax, I feel like they played it a little bit too safe with her. The gauntlets and all of that. I would have liked it if she had more unique tech, but that's just me. Kung Jin. This is a 9 out of 10. This guy, why wasn't he returned as well? Out of the 4 Special Forces kids, why were the girls brought in and not Kung Jin and Takeda? Kung Jin is an archer archetype with unique shenanigans and a little bit of Kung Lao DNA in him to keep him grounded in Mortal Kombat, although he's very much a unique character in his own right. Tanya's an 8 out of 10. I'm not usually very keen on the backstabber type traitor type characters. And otherwise, as far as the DLC characters go, she is personally the second least favorite of mine behind Jason, but don't let me say that I'm bad-mouthing Tanya. No. That is not what I meant to say. It's just that you have 8 DLC characters and somebody had to come in last, and that was actually Jason. Tanya is that second last. You know what I mean? Fire tattoos are cool as shit, though. Bo Raicho. I am probably in the minority for saying that Bo Raicho is probably one of the better DLC characters. He's also an 8, though, overall, because he's very much a relic of the 3D era, and some people are going to hate that, some people are going to love that, and me, I kind of dig it. Now we're going to go down to Triborg and move on. It's hard not to give Triborg a 9.5. He's 4 characters in one, all with unique moves, and he's a cyber ninja. He's all the cyber ninjas in one package, and what a way to make it work. It's like a proto version of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Also, side note, I'm a little bit sad that Human Smoke never made it into Mortal Kombat since MK9, but please bring him back. Spear or no spear, I really don't care. Just Human Smoke, please. I need Tomas. Tremor, the second best DLC character in Mortal Kombat X. 9.5 out of 10. The Big Rock Man is such a blast to play, and despite his gigantic size, he actually has a lot of tricksy moves with creating interactables and overhead low mix-ups and all kinds of crazy stuff between his variations. Tremor, easily my favorite Mortal Kombat DLC character, my second favorite DLC character overall. Goro is a 7.5. I'm a fan of brawler-type characters, and Goro's command-grab aspects are very neat, and plus Punch Walk, but I have a personal vendetta against Goro thanks to MK9, so it's hard not to think about that every time I look at this four-armed freak. Quan Chi is a 5 out of 10. I say a 5 because I absolutely despise this character. He's evil, backstabbing, and conniving, and I find it incredibly hard to actually like him. He's my second least favorite character in Mortal Kombat X, and I'm glad he didn't return to Mortal Kombat 11, and personally would prefer he just stay dead for good. Raiden is a 9.5 out of 10. My favorite classic character of all the Mortal Kombat characters, and of all of the original 7, and pretty much the most unique of the bunch. He is a god, and gods don't show up very often in Mortal Kombat, despite the fact that there's actually 3 playable gods, or 4 now with Cetrion, that have shown up. And all of his skins are quite fantastic, and I kind of wish Future Skin came back in some way, shape, or form. Not just because of the goatee, but because this combined with Master of Storms just looks like a top-notch skin. I dig it. Devora. Another divisive character. This bug, personally, is a 6.5 out of 10 for me. She seems to have been created specifically to kill fan favorites. She killed Baraka, she killed Melina, she offed Scorpion, and she was integral to almost killing Kotal Kahn in Mortal Kombat 11. But, conversely, an insectoid combatant with bugs and wings and stabby bits is a very cool prospect. Personally speaking, from a design standpoint, she's the most unique of the newcomers. But she's definitely a least favorite out there. Speaking of unique, we have Ferrotor. This is my favorite of the non-Special Forces newcomers, and they're a 9.5 as well. So overall, the big guy is just really fun to play. My favorite matchup in the whole game is Lackey Tor versus Goro. Just the slugfest you can get into with that is just fantastic. And then using Farah, a small child with knives as a projectile, just feels so right and so fun. I can't with this character. Reptile. He's a weird one. Design-wise, I feel like they tried to play it weirdly safe, keeping him kind of being this reptoid ninja-looking guy. I mean, look at the classic skin. That's a perfect example. But the thing is with Reptile is that I prefer him with a more reptilian aspect, and the fact that they were going to give him a tail, and they ended up not giving him a tail, hurts it a little bit. So Reptile is going to be like a 7 out of 10. Kotal is a 9. This is the con for me. Granted, he is not perfect, and he is problematic in several ways, but he's leaps better than Shao, and he is the most fun of the Outworld characters, and definitely my main in Mortal Kombat 11. The only thing I'm not too keen on is the fact that they kind of nerfed Obsidian Totem right at the end of Mortal Kombat X, so that became less of a viable thing, but Sun God Kotal, oh, that is just glorious to play. Ermac. I've heard some people say they really prefer the classic. Again, this is a thing that I personally have, and it's just a common thing. But the classic interpretations of the ninjas from like MK2 and MK3 just don't work anymore. And if you think they do, you're clinging to the past. This is the definitive Ermac for me. A floating humanoid vessel of souls who's bolted together, if you can see... if you see the symbol on his chest, it's bolted together to hold him together, otherwise the souls would tear him apart. He's a creation of Shao Kahn's magic. He isn't, in my opinion, he shouldn't be a ninja. So many of these characters with classic costumes, Melina, Katana, Jade, Scarlet, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, across Mortal Kombat, they've outgrown their classic costumes, and only Scorpion and Sub-Zero should keep elements of that classic costume. They don't need these antiquated crutches anymore. But that's enough about me bagging on classic costumes. Let's move on to Liu Kang. Liu Kang here is weird. Liu Kang in MK11 is almost a better characterization as he's more, I don't know, it feels more like Liu Kang, more humble, more heroic, and less of an asshole. Like, even human Liu Kang is an ass, and Revenant Liu Kang is just evil. He's a 6 out of 10 in this game, as opposed to MK11 Liu Kang's probably an 8. This guy falls pretty short. Aaron Black. This guy suffered pretty hard from a weird thing with trying to make him more of a cowboy in Mortal Kombat 11. Whereas he does have his cowboy elements with the rifle and the hat and all of that. He has unique things. Magic sand grenades, a salvaged Tarkatan blade in one variation. They should have the Nether Beast trap, the Beast Bear trap, and in the Fatality on a chain is a pretty cool thing. But if they kept more of this Aaron Black and had that bear trap, that would have been the best interpretation of the character. But this is definitely a 7.5 out of 10 character. 5.5 out of 10. Moving on. I'm just kidding. Here's the thing about Johnny Cage. He is the epitome of the asshole spoiled rich boy, and that kind of archetype grates on my soul. And older Johnny Cage is better and more humble, and he still cracks jokes. He's the better version of Johnny Cage by a landslide. So actually, I'm going to bump him up to a 6 out of 10. But old Johnny is such a sore spot for me that I just can't stand the character when he is brought back from his older asshole self. Kano, 4 out of 10. This character is one of those characters I think should have died in Mortal Kombat X and stayed dead in Mortal Kombat 11. He is... okay. He is a super criminal smuggler. Fine. He should have been dead decades ago. This is somehow, despite all the scumbaggery, assholishness, and straight up murder he's committed, and backstabbing and traitorous things, somehow this guy only died in Mortal Kombat 11. It took 11 games and 27 years to kill this guy. How and why? How did that even happen? Ugh. I wish he never came back to Mortal Kombat 11. Actually, so I'm going to bump him down to a 3. This character. Ugh. Shinnok. This is the most... this character would have been around the same level as Quan Chi at a 5 out of 10, but things have evolved considering him. He's not by much, he's about a 6 out of 10, but as the fallen Elder God, it's hard not to be like, whoa, this guy is scary. And he actually kind of feels a little bit imposing. A little bit incompetent in the story mode, but certainly would have been nice to see him get involved in the shenanigans with his mom and his sister. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. The single best guest character NetherRealm has ever done, period. This ugly motherfucker is the gold standard for guests, in my opinion. And if you don't like guests, I'm pretty sure you'd find something to like about the Predator. I mean, if you're a zoner, Hish Q10, you've got traps with a black mask, crazy powerful attacks that can launch opponents. This is the complete package. And as a big Predator fan, the way they nailed this hunter from the stars, just chef's kiss beautiful. Leatherface is a 7 out of 10. One of the big selling points is what he's got in his hands right there. Nobody else has a chainsaw. And what a perfect weapon for Mortal Kombat. It's big, it swings around, it cuts, it slashes, it revs, it does all kinds of horrific damage. It's just such a good weapon, and frankly, it's hard not to like him for that. The only thing about Leatherface that I'm not too keen on is the fact that, I don't know, it just seems weird. He feels like he should belong in Mortal Kombat 9 almost. Butcher Leatherface would probably have been the perfect Mortal Kombat 9 character, and then we could have gotten Freddy and MKX, and then we would have had Freddy versus Jason. I think that's why I give him a 7 and not like an 8 or higher, is because he epitomizes a wasted opportunity because we have Alien versus Predator, and we could have gotten Freddy versus Jason, and I would have loved to have had those two movie matchups. I'd love to know what you guys think. Leave comments either on Twitter or on YouTube, and as always, don't forget to be awesome.